That kind of day, little music.
Yeah, that kind of day.
I got like a whole new angle here.
Yeah, Todd's got a new setup. The third monitor and camera is in effect.
Still working on it. Still working, trying to figure it out, you know?
So maybe if Todd looks up just too much, you're going to get a nose hair view. But otherwise, it's still Your Daily Scrum with professional Scrum trainers, Brian Ripley and Todd Miller. Co-authors of Fixing Your Scrum. We teach a lot of the Scrum.org courses. Check the description for all that stuff about us. I want to jump right into the question. Todd, what does a Scrum product owner do all day?
A lot.
Let's break it down. I'm going to go first.
Yeah, let's just go back and forth. Like we did this for Scrum Master. I think we just go back and forth to start shouting stuff out, right?
Product backlog refinement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So they're continually building and tweaking and reordering and refining, whether on their own or with a developer or maybe the developers, whatever it is, they are bringing transparency to the work, the future work on the product through all that great product backlog refinement and product backlog management. So the product backlog is certainly center of their world, and all the PBIs, the product backlog items on that product backlog. What do you think, Todd?
I mean, every time I've been a product owner, I get to work and that's what I start doing, and I leave the day and that's what I am doing. I'm just in the product backlog all the time. And, you know, on top of that, let's call that proper product backlog management, thinking of the order, thinking of details, adding things, deleting things.
Delete.
Yeah. On top of that, you know what else I'm doing, Ryan?
What are you doing?
I am opinion aggregating.
Tell me more.
I think it's Simon Rendell that he might have coined that. That's where I believe I learned it from. So shout out to Simon, awesome dude over in the UK, great guy, great trainer. So opinion aggregating. I have a lot of opinions that I need to consider, right? And they're just opinions. I'm the ultimate decision maker as a product owner, and so I need to understand the opinions of the developers. How do they think the order should be? Is there anything they think that we should add? Varying different levels of stakeholders. I want to gather their opinions, see what they're thinking, see what gaps that I might have missed in what we're building. I talk to customers. I'm aggregating opinions from customers. So I am walking around opinion aggregating in meetings and listening and trying to think, am I missing anything? Is there any value propositions I can think of based off of the feedback that I'm getting? And so that's it. Opinion aggregator.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like stakeholder management, right?
It does, yeah.
Keeping people informed, getting their opinions, showing them some things, maybe getting some quick views of what's being built. How about forecasting? Right? I'm constantly working on release forecasts. I'm working on product backlog item forecasting, product backlog forecasting. I'm continually looking at. So for us, it's a cycle time scatter plot along with some Monte Carlo simulation, maybe some throughput work. We're looking at the lean metrics and seeing when could something potentially be done. And I'm communicating that very carefully, and I'm updating that like a weather person as we learn new things. So when the developers come to me and say, hey, we just learned something, I got to redo my forecasts, right? And I got to get that in front of stakeholders. That's part of good stakeholder management as well. So maybe forecasting and updating and re-updating and updating again, just like the Doppler radar. That could be part of it, Todd.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to add another one, Ryan. Can I tack on to that?
Yeah.
This is the reality of it, right? If for all you people in big companies out there, sometimes as a product owner, you're managing up.
Yep.
Right. And specifically, you called something out. We're making transparent where we are with forecasts, making sure expectations are clear, making sure that people understand my thoughts on the direction that we're heading. And a lot of that is having to do that up, right? And make sure that things are very clear and across the board with maybe even my colleagues or people working on things that may be dependent of just doing all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And it's the reality of the work.
How many times as a product owner in a large company, if you had to go sit down with the CFO about your product budget, you got to manage up and you got to, hey, this is what we've spent. This is what we're doing. This is my vision going forward. Sometimes you're managing up. You got to go talk to VPs, executives. Another one that I love, Todd, sometimes you got to get out in the field. You got to go see how are people actually using this product. I think there's a big difference between stakeholders, customers, and users. There's people, there's stakeholders who are interested in the outcome of the work. There are customers who are paying for your work, and there's users who are actually using your product. Now, sometimes those boundaries are combined, but you got to think about all three aspects of those people, right? What do the people who are paying for the product want? Maybe I need to go visit them. How are people using the product? If we're not building in metrics that are showing me that, I need to go on site and see how they're doing, get some real feedback, see how they're using the tool. So maybe, Todd, I'm out in the field.
I just caught myself in a sneeze. Sorry.
That's all right.
Nailed it. Mute it. Yeah, I think you have to be, and, I think we could probably go back and forth all day on this. The reality of it is, as a product owner, you're an Agile product manager, right? That's I think something that our good friends John McGreal and Ralph Yoakum write about in their book. Agile, what's it's professional Scrum product owner, right?
Yep.
In the Scrum
Professional product owner. Yep.
Yeah, which is a phenomenal read. But there's so many facets that you might need to, or like so many techniques, let's say, that you might need to implement in any given situation that deal with product management. We could talk about budgeting. We could talk about road mapping. We could talk about all these different things. Understanding what unrealized value that there left is to be on your product, trying to come up with value propositions, understanding what the current value that you deliver to
defining value, evidence-based management.
Yep, all that stuff.
You know what might be helpful, Todd? What is a product owner not doing all day?
Right. Jeez. I'm like starting to sweat.
How about not doing? They are not solving the technical problems for the Scrum team.
Right.
They are not
out of that.
You are no longer a technical person.
You're not estimating work.
You're not estimating.
You're not interfering with the sprint backlog.
You're not managing the Scrum team. You're not messing with the sprint backlog.
Avoid going to the daily Scrums. You can't keep your mouth shut. I know we talk about how you can be there as a silent verb. Just don't do it. Right. Find another time to talk to the Scrum team.
If you go back to the first 5 minutes of this episode, you are so busy. Why are you even trying to dive into the technical aspects and the management aspects of the Scrum team? Leave that to the developers. They've got that covered. And if they can't handle it, the Scrum Master will help with impediments, right? You've got so much to worry about.
I like one thing that I want to make sure clear that you just said that we want to reemphasize, because I think it did a really good job of explaining the technical aspect, but also you're not the manager.
Yep.
Stop acting like it, right? So if you're doing that, if you're doing those things, you're going to be ignoring something that you shouldn't be.
If you want to manage something, manage the product backlog and manage the flow of value. Get those two, get the forecast of value and the product and the management of the product backlog under control. Everything else will be great.
Yeah. This was a fun one. I like it. This brings me back to some product owner days.
It's awesome. Let's pop up that end screen. Check out our socials. We're big on Twitter and LinkedIn. We're working on Facebook and Instagram, but we might be a little too old for that. I don't know. We're working on it. Like and subscribe. Don't ever miss an episode, ever. We have a new Fixing Your Kanban coming out this week with Dan Vacanti. You don't want to miss that. Some videos are going to pop up below. The YouTube algorithm thinks you'll like them. We do too. For Todd Miller, I'm Ryan Ripley. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Your Daily Scrum. Leave us a comment below. What do you think about the product owner role? Did we miss something? Did we go too far? Let us know in the comments. Leave your questions. And who knows, your question might be tomorrow's video. We'll see you then.